So I, 28 male, found out last week that my girlfriend, 27 female, of 3 years, has been having an affair with one of her exes from college. This guy moved to Switzerland a while back, but turns out he's back in town and they've reconnected. I always knew she spoke fondly of him, but I never thought she'd actually cheat. I found some texts and nudes, so at the very least it's an emotional affair. Whether they've hooked up physically or not, I don't really care at this point. The trust is completely gone. She moved in with me about 6 months ago because she couldn't afford to live on her own. We're in New York City. Her parents are in Kentucky, but they don't have a good relationship, so going back there isn't an easy option for her. She's also been talking about quitting her job because it's too stressful and wants to take a sabbatical to find herself. That's where my dilemma comes in. I want to be gone before she decides to quit because I'm not about to fund a trip where she's probably going to screw her ex. I haven't confronted her about the affair yet. Currently, I'm leaning towards just packing up my stuff and bouncing while she's at work, leaving her a note to explain why I'm gone. I'm filled with so much resentment right now. I know if I confront her, it's just going to get messy, and I'm not in the mood for drama or manipulation. But at the same time, I'm wondering if it's too harsh to just ghost her like that. We've been together for 3 years, and part of me thinks she deserves to at least know why I'm leaving. But then I think about how much time and energy I've wasted on this relationship, and I'm like, why should I make it easy for her? She can't afford to live here on her own, but that's not my problem anymore. So what do you think? Should I just disappear and leave a note? Or do I owe her one last conversation to tell her why I'm done? I'm trying to protect myself here, but I also don't want to feel like a complete asshole. Any advice would be appreciated. Update. So, it's done. My 2 weeks notice at work ended yesterday, and I've got a moving truck booked for today. While she's at work, I'm packing up my things and getting out with the help of a few friends. I'll be leaving her a note explaining everything and breaking the lease tomorrow. By the time she gets back, I'll be gone. For a little background, I've been checking her messages ever since I first found out about her affair. They're still sexting, saying I love you to each other, and she's even called him her ultimate destination. All this while she's been living in the house I pay for, eating the food I pay for, and acting like nothing's wrong. I don't know if they've actually hooked up, but at this point, it doesn't really matter. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been preparing myself to leave. I gave notice at my job and started making plans to move out. I never confronted her about what I found. There's no point. She'd probably just deny it or try to manipulate the situation. Instead, I've been keeping my distance, acting like everything's fine while mentally checking out of the relationship. I felt a lot of guilt about what I'm doing. I think she feels something is wrong, that I'm pulling away and she can't have that. She's been extra attentive lately, cooking dinner, being thoughtful, and even talking about our future together like she's not making plans to screw her ex every day. It's almost scary how easy it would be to just rug sweep everything and pretend everything is normal. But then I remember those messages, those I love yous, and I know I can't stay. I'm not gonna be the guy who turns a blind eye and finds out years later that the betrayal never really ended. I hope I don't regret this decision, but I know it's the right thing to do. I can't keep living like this, constantly checking her phone, wondering if she's still cheating, and feeling like a stranger in my own home. It's time to focus on my self-respect and stop being a pushover. So, when she gets home today, she'll find my note and an empty house. I'm not sure how she'll react, but I'm done. I put up with enough, and she can go find her ultimate destination without me. I'm moving on, and I'm ready to start fresh. Here we go. Final update. It's been a month since my last update, and my life's been pretty damn good since. I'm settling in nicely, got myself a new job that's way less hectic but pays the same, and I even found a bigger apartment with lower rent. It's like shedding that dead weight of an ex has made everything fall into place. I didn't realize until now just how much of a drain she was on my finances. I've already managed to save 3 times the amount I was before, and it's crazy to think about how much I was supporting someone who was busy cheating behind my back. Now that I'm on my own, I'm seeing the positive impact on my bank account, and it feels great. My ex did reach out. She sent me a bunch of messages from different numbers. throwing tantrums that I better get back, and calling me insane for abandoning her in a city she can't afford to live a week by herself. It was hilarious. I showed the text to my friends, and we all had a good laugh about it. It's amazing how much better everything is now that I've cut her out of my life. I'm happier, more financially secure, and just overall in a better place. It's like a weight's been lifted, and I'm finally able to breathe. So, for anyone out there dealing with a cheater, don't stay. Don't let guilt or fear of the unknown keep you in a toxic situation. I know it's scary to think about starting over, but trust me, it's worth it. You deserve better. And there's a whole world of possibilities waiting for you once you let go of someone who doesn't value you. Life's too short to waste on people who betray your trust. Story 2. I thought I'd share what's been happening, as I really need some advice and support. My wife, 31 female, and I, 31 male, have been together for years, and until recently, I thought we were solid. But after finding out about our affair, things have spiraled completely out of control. We sat down last night to talk about how she could start working on herself and help us heal from this mess. She even said she was willing to go to therapy alone, to work on herself and try to rebuild our relationship. I started to feel a tiny glimmer of hope, like maybe we could work together to find a way through this. But less than 24 hours later, she told her friend that we're splitting up. She didn't even discuss it with me, just decided and shared the news. When I asked her about it, she casually mentioned that she'd told her friend we were done. It was like a punch to the gut. I've been whiplashed so many times over the past few weeks that I'm losing track. I'm not usually someone who lets my emotions take control. I've been holding everything together, trying to process this for the last month. But after she dropped that bombshell, I lost it completely. I spent hours crying uncontrollably, which is so unlike me. I'm ashamed that I couldn't keep it together, even though I know it's probably healthy to let it out. During our conversation, she was somewhat supportive at first, but then something changed. She became cold and dismissive, making sarcastic comments even though I kept asking her to back off. Toward the end, she got nasty, making snide remarks and trying to twist things around. I decided to end the conversation and go to bed, but she seemed to think this meant I was done with the relationship. I thought she was serious about getting therapy, working on herself, and maybe even trying to salvage what's left of our marriage. But now I realize she was just testing the waters to see how I would react. When I didn't react the way she wanted, she decided it meant I didn't care. It's like she expected me to make a life-altering decision on the spot, without even giving me time to process what she was saying. And to top it off, she hasn't stopped talking to the other guy. She thinks I'm being too controlling, that I would ask her to cut off contact because they're just friends and the affair meant nothing to her. But every time I bring it up, she gets angry and defensive, accusing me of invading her privacy by checking her social media. I'm crushed. I allowed myself to hope that maybe we could work things out, that we wouldn't have to destroy our marriage. But now I see that she was just playing me, trying to manipulate the situation to get what she wanted. I've decided to make an appointment with a therapist to help me work through this and to try to figure out how to move forward. I'm also reaching out to my doctor for some stronger anxiety meds because I can't keep living in this constant state of panic. I never wanted this. I never wanted to be the person who has to end their marriage, but she's left me no choice. I'm so tired, so upset, and so lost. I'm angry that she chose this path and that she continues to show such a lack of respect for what we had. How do you find the strength to move on when the person you loved most in the world turns out to be someone you barely recognize? How do you rebuild your life after everything you thought was real comes crashing down? Any advice or support would be greatly appreciated. Update. 1 year update. A year ago, I was in the darkest place I've ever been. I discovered my wife's affair, and after a lot of emotions, manipulation, and heartbreak, I finally made the decision to end our marriage. It was one of the hardest things I've ever done, but looking back, it was absolutely the right choice. Fast forward to today, I'm divorced, and I'm thriving. I've been focusing on myself, working out regularly, and taking care of my mental health. Therapy has been a game changer for me, helping me process everything that happened and guiding me towards a much better place. I've learned so much about myself over this past year, and I'm stronger and more confident than ever before. I've also started dating again, something I never thought I'd be ready for so soon. I've met someone who's kind, supportive, and understanding of what I've been through. It's still early days, but I'm enjoying getting to know her and exploring what could be a healthy and fulfilling relationship. Now, on to the part I didn't expect to be writing about, my ex. About 6 months after our divorce was finalized, I got a call that she'd passed away unexpectedly. I won't go into details, but it was shocking. Despite everything that happened between us, I never wished any harm on her. Her death brought up a lot of complicated emotions, grief, guilt, and even some unresolved anger. But with the help of my therapist, I've been able to process those feelings and find some closure. Her passing made me reflect on how far I've come and how important it is to live authentically and honestly. It's a reminder that life is short and we shouldn't waste it being unhappy or stuck in situations that don't serve us. I've let go of any lingering resentment and instead focused on building a life that brings me joy and fulfillment. To anyone reading this who's going through a similar situation, I want you to know that it gets better. It's a long and difficult road, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. Take care of yourself, seek support, and don't be afraid to make the hard decisions if it means finding your peace and happiness. Thank you to everyone who supported me during that tough time. Your advice and encouragement meant the world to me. Here's to new beginnings and living life on your own terms.